We are live. This is Coach Arnie with the Health, Love, and Life and Adventure Show. And we are on the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network radio, TV, and podcast. And that's me, Coach Arnie, and I am your host. And there's the best way to get a hold of me is just give me a phone call. Cut through the noise. Let's pick up the phone and call. I'll answer, even with all the craziness. So, tonight we are going to be talking about chaos. And a lot of times these topics come to me when I'm either talking to people or managing my own chaos. This came to me last week. I was talking to a young client who has been through a lot in her life at 25. Not to start off on too much of a downer, but she's been a guest on this show. We won't mention any names, but we talked a little bit about this, but her mom has passed away from suicide, and her dad is an alcoholic, recovering, and a great guy, I know. And but just we talked about how some people manage chaos better than others, and whether or not it's a good thing or not, And she kind of posed that question to me, and I didn't have a good answer. Mainly because I guess you do what you have to do. And if sometimes all you understand is chaos, you almost look for it. And I kind of have to guard against that. I was thinking this week as I was planning this, in that, I remember many times in school, and some might relate to this. When you get down to the end, when an assignment is due, I always felt like when my back was against the wall, I was at my best. That's chaos. I mean, let's give you a couple definitions here. A state of utter confusion. And it's funny, to me, the word chaos goes back to the 60s, watching an old TV show, comedy show called Get Smart. He was a secret agent kind of guy. And they were always against the neat thing about when I grew up, it was always, shows were always good versus evil. And I like that. I try to live my life that way, actually. So it was easy to, you always knew who to root for or who not to. And so it was always, I can't remember his organ, but I know the bad organization was called Chaos. And I never even thought about it because as a youngster, that word wasn't as well known as it is today. And we just thought it was chaos. Well, it was, because they were about utter confusion. They were about the irregular, unpredictable behavior of deterministic, nonlinear, dynamical systems. Chaos. Things that just don't make sense. They're all over the place. Chaos. And many times our life gets in that way. When you're talking about suicide, look around. Are you kidding me? Somebody asked me yesterday, "Hey, Arnie, would you have ever predicted what's going on today in our societies with all this stuff with viruses and vaccines and lockdowns and anger and just stuff that I never would have thought. And they asked me this yesterday. And I said, no. I mean, well, let's say a year and a half ago. Yeah, a year and a half. Let's go a year and a half ago. Because it's year and a half ago. I would have said, are you out of your mind? But now, you know what's funny is I'm not saying I enjoy it, but because I do manage chaos, I don't panic. I really don't. Maybe that's what made me so good working with families in with a traumatic situation. My own family. You know, I've been in the business 2001, 10 years, helping families deal with chaos, you know, through dramatic events, accidents. And when it happened in my own family, I knew exactly what to do. Boom, 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 boom. It was almost non-emotional, which is hard for most people. It's hard for me in some situations as well, because it becomes emotional. But I was very good at keeping it unemotional with my son and his brain injury, because I had done it so many times before. I knew exactly what to do. Just like I picked up a new client, and you know, and I think God's been talking to me about and putting the word help, not just in my head, but in my stomach, my gut. Help people. And so this gentleman reached out to me through another friend of mine's referral. And then he did a quick check on who I was. Then we talked, and we had a ton of stuff in common. Then we met again yesterday, more stuff in common. Then we made a deal and said, let's start. And I said, I couldn't really figure it out. And I thought about it. I said, let's just go tomorrow. I'll make it work. So I literally created some chaos in my head. And it worked out fine. So there you go. I mean, I created my own chaos. And now we're ready to rock and roll. And but I tend to do stuff like that. And some people, when you do stuff like that to them, they lose control because they don't do well. And I'm not saying it's the smartest thing in the world to create chaos. See, let's look at relationships. Let's look at even personal relationship, but even intimate relationships. Some people will start a fight when things are too calm. Do you know that? It's a fact. When things are going well in a relationship, some partners will create chaos just to mix things up a little bit, because we have these basic human needs, these fundamental needs of one is variety, one is safety. So if things are a little bit too safe, boring, some people will create chaos to create some excitement. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it backfires. But it's just something to think about, isn't that? Isn't that funny that here we are, we almost crave chaos as a fundamental human need, like love. I mean, it's right there. You get safety, variety. Well, I just said love or connection, and then you have you need appreciation. You need to be appreciated. These are fundamental needs. So, because if we have too much safety in our lives, you know, we get up every day knowing that the sun's going to come up. Well, in Arizona, if the sun, probably Florida too, we're seeing, when the sun doesn't come up, we're going, rain. Oh man, that means flooding and crazy people and da 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 da, because we have so little of it. The last couple of weeks we've had a ton of rain, more than the last couple of years, almost combined. And it was chaotic. Floods at my gym because we're outside. Just craziness. It was okay. I mean, I didn't panic. I didn't miss a beat. And but it was definitely chaos. So we need that little excitement in our lives to actually be more fulfilled. And that's something to think about because I'll be honest with you, some people, and I have to do a little more self-analysis here. Some even attract chaos in their life. Now, what we need to be aware of is I think I attract chaos in my life to be successful because I know how to use it. I see others attract chaos in their lives to panic or fall apart. And so you wonder, what is it about the chaos, the confusion that they are attracted to? Now, and I've done a kind of a deep dive here. And one of the things is attention. Yeah. Some people get sick because guess what? They get attention. You might have surgery. Attention. I mean, you'd be surprised what people do for attention. It's amazing. I've seen it with couples. I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it in business. And so that might be a reason for it. Just guessing, because it's what people are craving, what they're looking for. Remember what I just said? We talked about the 4 human needs. Well, one of those is love. Well, a lot of people mistake attention for love. They do. And so here they are getting all this attention, but maybe they're creating resentment. But some people are so starved for love. Remember, and we've talked about this here on the show before. And I'm going to loop it back to adventures and stuff here in a minute. But the number one fear in the world, we'll just call it because it's either one or two, is not being loved. Number 1. Number 1B is not being enough. So some of you may be able to relate to that. But think about that for a second. If you have a fear of being loved, I know people that will do anything for attention because they're looking for love from their partner. And that could be anything good or bad. Let me go real negative. I know people that have threatened suicide to get attention. Love. That's how strong that human need is. Even though it's not even appropriate. It's not even, to me, it'll cause even more pain once they realize it didn't get what they wanted. But when our brain is going and spinning that direction, it's, remember what I just talked about, good versus evil. I truly believe that, and I don't want to bring too much religion here, but I'm a Christian, and so I believe in Satan, and I believe in the fact that evil is operating on this planet a lot, and it will put thoughts in your head, not action, thoughts. I have 2 clients. One is very young and one is very old, who deal with amazing anxiety. One of them, we've made a list of things that it started off as a list of things he was thankful for, but it turned into a list of things that I don't want to say this because we modified it, but basically he listed things that were kind of truths in his life, and one of them was we jokingly now call it a number 8. A number 8. What does number 8 mean? Well, number 8 means I worry about dumb hits with an S. Got it? So he knows that he worries about dumb stuff. He knows. He wrote it down. So now when I'm calling him and I'll listen to his story, blah, 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 blah. I go, it's not a number 8. And he goes, yeah. Okay. But he got to say it. And I call it what it is. He agrees. Move on. Let's don't dwell on it. Because evil works as thoughts in our head. Plants things in there to get us off our game. To cause strife in our relationships, our intimate relationships. To cause strife at work. You know, when we're trying to build a team. And you could put a thought in your head like this person's trying to undercut you, or this person's doing that, or this person's saying this around the water cooler if you're back in the office. And so it will do that. Thoughts in our head. And those thoughts will create chaos in our life if we allow it. If you're not aware. And sadly, most people aren't aware. And most people don't do well in chaos. It's not exactly like they teach it, even though there is some chaos theory and things like that they now teach. So I can't say they don't teach it in school, but I think what they don't teach in school is some hands-on things that we're to do when you're in it, when you're in the chaos, whether it's business or relationships or whatnot. Now, in good coaching and good counseling, you do learn that stuff. Absolutely. I teach it. And we'll go through some of those things here in the next minute. But yeah, knowing that people will do just about anything for love, you've got to be aware, because then we're trying to get attention because they're equating attention with love, and it's not. So they create chaos. Isn't that weird? Are you one of those people? You know, I don't know if I am, or I wouldn't call myself that. Have I done that? I'm sure I have. Have I had it done to me? Absolutely. Does it feel good? No. Does it work? Sometimes. Am I resentful? Sometimes. Sometimes. So, you know, and look, I'll be honest. What was it? God, it was it yesterday? This came up yesterday. And I told the person, do not give in to it. Because if you give in to it, you're giving that person evidence that that behavior works. Which means if you feed a behavior, you're going to get more of it. All right, so hang on to that thought. We're going to come right back with some strategies on what to do with all this chaos in your life. See you in a few minutes. Hang on. Come on, strong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Zero program. What's up, ATG fam? So I linked.
All right, we are back. So let's move forward here a little bit. Let's start with change. Look, for many people, myself included, change creates chaos. And we've talked many times about change and how hard change is. And, you know, let's be honest with you. Change for people in chaos, you know, in my own life, change is the only constant. I'm constantly changing. I drive people crazy because in my life, change is the only constant. I'm always looking for what's next. That's why one of the things that I teach my adventure students, and I encourage them is when they're finishing up a great adventures, I want them to say, "Hey, coach, what's next?" You know why? Because my coach taught me this 47 years ago. He said, "Arnie, if people can't tell you what's next, they can't help you." And that always just stuck with me. I want to know what's next. Where are we going with this? Instead of maybe I should have just, you know, been satisfied in the present. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. But I've always been geared towards what's next. And so maybe that's one reason I've had so much chaos. But change in my life is the only constant. So I'm constantly in change. And for people, constant change would be an absolute nightmare. I have a young man I talk to almost every day. We do a little laser coaching every day because he struggles with anxiety. And we talk about change. And we talked about a little bit about this the other day. And I go, if that was constantly going on in your life, your life would be a nightmare. He goes, I couldn't do it. He's got to be so organized and regimented. He would lose his mind because he's never had to do that. I have. So I've had to adapt. And that circles back to my young client saying, is that a good thing? I don't know now. I mean, as I've done some little study now, I don't know if it's a good thing, but is it something I can change? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm working on it. I'm going to share with you some of the things that the way I work on it and the way I have worked on it my whole life. How about preparation? You know, I'm constantly preparing for things to happen on a big adventure. You know, lots of climbing, lots of descending, lots of other things, whatever it might be, the weather, the food. I mean, this weekend, I've got a couple weeks to go before the adventure, and I'm going to be practicing with a new nutrition product. I'm going to be working on, just different things. So I'm constantly throwing things in, trying things, changing, prepare, so that when I get there, there's less of a chance for chaos. To me, that's a great thing. That is, and I told the guy tonight, because we were talking about this, I go, how in sports, when I competed, I was watching film, studying, learning plays, doing this, repetition. We talked about how in an hour football game, we might get, if you're only playing one position, you might only get 4 minutes of actual playing time because the average play only runs 4 seconds. And so in a season, you might get less than an hour of playing time. And you spend hundreds of hours of preparation to get ready for that 4 minutes. Something to think about, huh? And I've done that without even thinking about it. Why? Because I had a strong enough why, and I was willing to put the time in to prepare for the game, for my time on the field. And so I was willing to prepare. But I know a lot of people that don't even prepare their own life for something they have to live 24/7, and they wing it. I know people right now in that are ultra athletes. And whenever I go over their their program for a big. I'm talking like a 50-mile race. I say, so what's your strategy here? I'm just going to wing it. And they say that with, and I'll be honest with you. I'm going to try to be fair here. 8 times out of 10, it sucks for them. So that's not chaos. That's craziness. That's craziness. And believe that's coming from somebody who embraces change. But I also know this: when there's something I want to do, I'll prepare. And I know that we don't prepare enough in life. As an old former football coach, we were talking about it tonight. How many hours we put in with the game plans, the drills, the practice. Every day when I was doing wrestling, I remember I would write out every drill we would do for the 2 hours or hour and a half. Every day, 5 days a week, month in, month out, then off season, in season training, Saturdays. And I sometimes will struggle with a business plan. It doesn't even make sense. So why would I put myself in that chaos when I already know the answer to it is better preparation, planning. I love planning for training, workouts, adventures, nutrition things. Those are things that I do as an exercise physiologist, just like that. Bam, 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 bam. But running companies, it's chaos. Even when I had my therapy clinics, I was the most chaotic person in the world, but I was just on all the time. Energy off the charts. Maybe because I was in my element, because I knew I could solve almost any problem on the spot. To me, that's stupid now. It's chaos, but it's arrogance too. It's my own arrogance, ego. Not so much ego, arrogance. I didn't have a massive ego, but and I'm not saying that because I have a big ego, but I'm saying that because it was arrogance. Because I thought I had all the answers, and I didn't. Especially from a business standpoint. And it's funny because when people ask me, what's the one thing you would do differently? I would hire a business manager. Mm-hmm. I go, no, why would you do that? Yeah, but people don't know what was going on in here. Chaos. So if I would have had somebody that could help me plan better, prepare better, would I have been better and had less chaos and the business would have done better? I don't know. But it's something to think about. But it's something to think about. And then a term called spaced repetition. It's just repeating it. It's kind of like when I go up and do a mountain. And let's say I do it 5, 6, 7, 8 times or more, depending on the size of the mountain. I am doing repetitions. I'm learning. Going up, going down, going up, going down, going up. It's a grind. Like at the gym, you're doing your reps, bench presses, squats, whatever you might be doing. And you're putting in that repetition when you're in a football practice, running the play, run it again, run it again, run it again. Or I had a guy today, he has some issues with weakness. And I literally told him, I said, he can move his toe. So I gave him one homework assignment tonight. I said, I want you to move your toes 100 times. I meant it. And I was being nice. Because in wrestling, what we did, we used to teach that if you did a move 1,000 times, you own that move. Yeah. 1,000 times. Becomes automatic. Say something like that. I mean, say phrases, 100 times a day for a month. So you've said it 3,000 times. Say it over 2 months, 6,000. Say it over 3 months, 9,000 times. You think it might make an imprint in your brain? It might. I bet it does. But it's repetition, spaced repetition, repetition, repeat, 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 repeat. And what you're doing, you're creating a neuro pattern here, and then physically you can create a mirror. Whether you're swimming or running, whatever it might be, you're going to create a neurological pattern. It works. It's real if you do it. Faith. I mean, what is faith? I mean, as a Christian, faith is something you can't see, hear, or touch. You just got to believe it. You just got to believe. You have to believe that you're going to achieve X. One of the things I wrote down here is what you want, when you want it, and why you want it. Well, when is that faith? I want this, the what I want, by then. Maybe 6 months. I want to lose 20 pounds. I can't see it yet. I might visualize it. Can't see it. Can't touch it because I can touch the 20 pounds now, or obviously hear it. But as part of the plan, eating better, exercising better, you're reducing stress, all the things necessary to lose the 20 pounds, pretty soon, if I'm doing them over, and over, all of a sudden, you lose 20 pounds. Now you have a system. Now you have a belief because you've done it. Your faith grows. So the next time you have to do something like that, maybe, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's recover from an injury, sickness. You have a stronger faith because you already did it once. You have evidence. You still can't see it. Your injury may still be there. You may have busted your ankle or something like that, but you have a stronger belief. So the more you do things and apply faith, for those of you that have faith, your faith becomes stronger. The stronger your faith, the stronger your belief, the better you're going to heal. That's a fact. That's just a fact. How about, where's my notes? Here we go. Listen to your body. Sometimes we have to, I always love listening to trainers and coaches and stuff because I'm listening to learn what they know. What can I steal? And sometimes I run into some amazing guys. I mean, amazing, life-changing stuff. Today I was listening to somebody that was promoted. Oh, he's the physio genius of whatever this country. And I went, he said the same old CRAP that everybody else does. Did I learn anything? No. Except you could tell he was very careful. Sometimes I like people that, I hate to say this, are a little like me, a little crazy. Risk takers, the crazies, kind of like Steve Jobs. When Steve Jobs used to talk about the crazies and the lunatics out there, that's us. That's me. The risk takers, the cowboys. Hey, look, I'm not telling everybody to do this, but sometimes when you listen to your body and not your head, your body's going to tell you something totally different. It may not be the normal. It may not be science-based. It may not be, by the numbers, but it's going to work because you're going to apply faith to it, because you're going to make a decision based on listening to your body. And sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes that's all you need to take you to that next level is trust. Trust yourself. One of the toughest things I have to do is, because I'm getting better at it myself, but I've been doing it for so long, is getting people to trust themselves. And I'm not talking about arrogance and ego. I'm talking about trust your training. And if I'm working with somebody that's had already success in their life and they lost it, I remind them of it. I remind them of their being a champion, what it took to be a champion, what it took to get to that level that they were at. And I remind them that you know what it feels like. You know what it tastes like. Let's go get it. Now, some people have never been there before, so they don't know what it tastes like. That's where you have to come in and build their faith up, build that vision in their head so they can see it before it actually happens. And when you do that, great things will happen. I promise you, great things will happen. All right, let's go to the next one. This came up this past week. Yeah, I guess it was a week. I don't know. It's been a week or so. I'm not really doing much watching the Olympics. I got better things to do. But one of the things that came up to me and somebody was asking me, my wife was asking me about this gymnast. You know, I don't want to get political here, but someone talked about, you know, was she hurt? I do a lot of work with mental health. Is it mental health? I don't know. I don't know. So I did my homework, and because I don't like to hear other people's opinion on anything, because I don't trust people. I'm sorry. And so I said, well, isn't there something I can hear her? I want to hear what she has to say. And lo and behold, I found it. And I listened to it twice because I wanted to be very clear before I made a judgment, because I don't want to be judgmental. I just want to, I want to inspect the fruit. Let's inspect what's happening here, what's being produced. And this person said they weren't having fun, which is why they quit. They weren't having fun. And so I thought, So I did a little more self-analysis, a little more self-study, a little deeper dive. And I thought to myself, you know, the joy comes in winning the prize. When I'm out there and it's 100 degrees and I'm going up and down a mountain, I'm not having a lot of fun. It hurts. It's hot. It's uncomfortable. I may be cramping. That's not fun. But I know this. When you come out of the Grand Canyon or you come down a big mountain or you're doing something great and you finish, when your hands are up in the air and that joy is in your spirit and your heart, man, I tell you what, I don't think about those mountains then. I don't think about those grinds then. I think about, wow, was that worth it or not? I am having fun today. But you don't get there without the grind. You don't get there without putting in that craziness and pain and agony. And okay, you don't. And I don't know where these people get this from. I don't want to be judgmental of our younger generation, because I think it happens in my generation as well. But to me, my own opinion, the joy comes in winning the prize. Winning. Championship. I got news for you. I'm from Phoenix. The Phoenix Suns are not having fun. I don't care how many people told them, hey, that was great, man. You made the finals. That's not what we do this for, to make the finals. We do this to win the finals. I'm sorry if that doesn't work for you, but that's just the way it is. That's life. That's in our spirit. I mean, God put that in our spirit to win, to be the best we can, whatever that is. But it's got to be your best. Yeah. So as we finish up here, let me remind you here of the what we're talking about here to kind of subdue the chaos a little bit, is have some kind of a priority management system in your life. You know, what do you want? When do you want it by? Why are you doing it? You know, what are the things you need to be working on all the time? You know, what are the big things you need to work on all the time? The important things, you know, like your health, you know, your fitness, eating right, your relationships, you know, making sure you have a job. Okay. Keep your job. And then what are the things you have to do every day? You know, do you have a daily routine? I have a daily routine. I get up every morning, I do some reading, do some journaling, do some meditating, some prayer work. Then I usually go do some kind of exercise at the gym or here. Then I get on with my day and I finish with some more of the same stuff. A little prayer, little meditating. And so these are things that I do every day. So what are the things that you do every day? And these things help to control the chaos. When you have daily habits, they really do work. They help to control the chaos. Okay. And then the whole why thing is important. We've all heard this forever, the old Simon Sinek thing. And sometimes we have to find a why. Sometimes your why is not, I wrote down here, it should scare you a little bit, your why. Sometimes you got to go through it a little bit to figure out what really is your why. It's not always tied to money, but it's something that's sacred and special in your own spirit. And that's a tricky one. The why is tricky because if you're struggling getting out of bed in the morning, your why is probably not big enough, or it's the wrong one. I want to ask you 5 questions that somebody gave me a while back, and I need to get better about asking myself these every morning. Because I forgot. I actually, when I was doing this tonight, I remembered I have it taped right here on my computer board. And the 5 questions are this: do I really want what I want? Do I really want it? When do I want it by? Why is this a must for me? What am I willing to do to achieve it, to get it? And lastly, what am I not willing to do? Are you willing to get up a certain time? Are you not willing to get up a certain time? Are you willing to do this, do that? Look, guys, if you can start asking yourselves questions like that and put together some kind of system in your life, you will slow down the chaos. I promise. You're not going to eliminate all of it. If you're crazy like me, you'll probably invite it in, but you can control it. It'll make your life a lot better. All right, guys, there you go. That's how you manage chaos. And I'm telling you what, as an adventure athlete, when you're in the middle of at the bottom of the Grand Canyon or top of a mountain, chaos happens. And if you don't manage it well, it could be disastrous. And if you don't manage chaos well in your life, relationships, business, it can be disastrous. So it's something to think about, something to work on. And I'll see you next week. Have a great week. I love you guys and talk to you later.